in the trial of Brittney Griner. This morning in a Russian court, Griner pleaded guilty to bringing cannabis oil into Russia, which officials said was discovered at the airport. Griner says she did so inadvertently. She asked the court for mercy. Griner has been held in Russia since February and recently had her detainment extended for another 6 months. ESPN's investigative reporter TJ Quinn here now with more details. TJ, what can you tell us about Griner's decision to plead guilty?
It was more a larger negotiation strategy than it was, or at least as much as it was a legal strategy. There was a recognition from her team that she was going to be convicted no matter what. Maybe she did it, maybe she didn't. That really wasn't the point. They understood that she's going to go home if the two governments strike a deal, completely independent of what happens in court. So the thought was Russia will require an admission of guilt from her before they sign off. Why not do it in court? The other concern is, could she plead, throw herself on the mercy of the court, hope for possibly better conditions and maybe a shorter sentence?
Yeah, and so now we sit here, we're like, okay, she pleaded guilty. This was kind of a big step in the process. What are the next steps, though, in the legal process to get Griner back home here to the U.S.?
Well, the legal process is going to draw out for a long time. It's not like the U.S. where a guilty plea ends it. This will continue possibly for weeks or months as the judge reads the case file into the record. That's just how Russian court works. They'll wait for sentencing, but the negotiations continue. What was key today was a statement from the State Department very quickly saying they still consider her to be wrongfully detained. The plea doesn't change that. There's some thought in the U.S. that she said what she needed to say to get out of Russia. Now they can try to do the work to get her home. So, and to be clear, her detainment was extended for 6 months. That doesn't even change any of that. It really doesn't, and it didn't mean much to begin with. It was more a procedural thing. But the experts I've spoken to have said you need to look at this as theater. It's not justice. It's all about Russia going through this pretense that it's a legitimate trial, legitimate legal proceeding, in order to keep leverage in the negotiations. This is certainly a saga we've been keeping an eye on since February, and much more on this story later this hour on Outside the Lines. TJ, thank you.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.